All right, example number 3 for our quadratic regression, our quadratic model. This one is talking about how thick ice is and what weight it supports. All right, so there's going to be some value, some thickness of the ice, and some weight of a person that it's not going to work. At some point it's going to fall through, but they don't want us to find that. They want us to know how much weight can be supported by ice that is 22 inches. We have data for 18 inches, 20, and 24, but we don't have anything for 22 inches. All right, so we're going to do something a little bit different. We don't, let's clear our Y1. Let's go ahead and enter our data, stat, edit, hit enter, and there's all my data. Do that and then come back to the video. After you do that, immediately hit zoom and make sure I'm going to hit zoom. Zoom 9. Success. Okay, so we can call this guy linear. We can call him quadratic. It looks very, very close to a line. It looks very, very close to quadratic. You know what? I'm going to go ahead. Don't do this unless you want to. I'm going to run a linear. That and calculate. I'm going to do a linear regression, which is going to be number 4. Hit enter there and hit enter. And my R value is 0.993. Really, really close. So let's go to y equals, and I'm going to go to vars 5 equation, enter, and then graph that. And we'll see that, wow, that data really does look pretty linear. It might be that. So let's go ahead and let's do our quadratic regression. It may be something that my data keeps going, and at some point off to the right, it's going to hit a peak. You know what? Let's do this. Since it looks so much, and this is what you do, you look at the data and then you try to figure out what's the best model. It's not going to be obvious all the time, so I'm going to think, well, what happens if it is linear? So they say, so what's it going to be at 22 inches? The inches, remember, are our x values. So what I'm going to do is go to second trace so that I can calculate. And number 1 is value, my x value. Hit enter, and it says, what value do you want for x? Well, I want 22 inches. Hit enter, and it's going to tell you when x is 22, your y is equal to, I cannot see that, whatever y is equal to, 24 something? 22, no. I can't see it very well. Oh, 34. 34.4. Look at your data. At 20 inches is 25. We're saying at 22 inches, it is the 30, whatever we said, 34. And at 24 inches, it's 40. So that makes sense. Another way you could have found that is by going to second graph, and that gives you a table. Your x values here, you could scroll down to 22. And 22, and there's that same 34.39. It may be off a little bit. I'm not sure. I can remember now what that other one was. But there you go. Okay, so now that's what it could be. Let's do the quadratic. For giggles, let's see what happens with that one. So let's go to stat, and let's go to calculate, and I'm going to do a quadratic this time, 5, and do the regression. Okay, and now that's a quadratic regression. So let's do our zoom 9. And that also follows the data. And I didn't see what the regression value was. Did you? There we go, stat. And let's go to calculate again so I can see what I missed. And that is at number 5. And enter 0.99999. So as a matter of fact, this guy is better than the linear. The linear looked like it was pretty close, but according to our calculator, it much more matches a quadratic, because it's saying at some point off to the right, it is going to be a maximum and come down. All right, so anyway, so let's do the same thing. Let's go to y equals. I'm going to clear that because that was for my linear regression. I'm going to go to vars 5, go over to my equation, and put in my quadratic regression. And let's go to graph. And again, that's how that looks pretty good. Let's go to our second table, second graph, and look at our table, and we wanted it at 22 inches. And this guy is really, it says at 32.36 is a more accurate value for 22 inches. Okay? So look at both, whenever you can't tell exactly what it is, try both and look at which one has the greater R value. All right, the next two, do on your own.